used to this far side grip, near side ankle. I'm putting Carl under pressure. Got my De La Riva hook in. Everything's good. What do I do now? Okay, the De La Riva guard and the De La Riva X guard is all about action reaction. I want to off balance Carl. I stay comfortable, I make him uncomfortable. I go for something, put him in a vulnerable position. If he doesn't react, I'll continue on with the sweep, which is what we're going to do now. If he does make a reaction to defend what I'm doing, that's Thursday night's class. So we're just thinking of the off balance. So from here, and I've got my grips, and I'm keeping this on the outside, and it's in my hip, I'm going to push on this far leg. And as I do, I transition to sit-up guard, and I take my De La Riva hook out. I don't leave it in, okay, because it's kind of going to mess up what I want to do. So the minute I pull this to my hip, and I push in the thigh, and I sit up, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to dip, and I'm going to shelf. I'm going to shelf Carl's right leg and get it off the mat as I dip this way. So I'm falling onto my right hip, and as I push and pull here, I'll be trying to get Carl onto his left knee, and I end up in this position here. Okay. So once I get to there, a couple of things can happen. Either Carl can turn to face me and get into combat base, and now I'm in the De La Riva X, and then I still have him, which is Thursday night's class. But when I get to this position here, and I've shelved him, if Carl doesn't try to put his foot on the mat and doesn't make a reaction to try and get his base back, I'm going for this elevator sweep. So all I do is I just swim this foot inside, and I put the crook of my foot underneath the back of his knee. I push on the knee, and I pull on his wrist. Okay. Now this is like using an analogy of like a butterfly guard sweep. I just elevate him up to here. I've still got my grips. Okay. And as I come up, I'm winning the underhook, and I'm in the half guard. Let's look at that again. So from De La Riva, so we've got near side ankle and far side sleeve. I've shown you guys how to keep it in the hip, how to off balance, how to get my De La Riva hook in. So I'm going to push on this thigh. This is our go-to move from week one. This is the off balance that I'm after, the kazushi. So I push and sit up, and I take out the De La Riva hook. Now in one movement, I'm going to dip and shelf. I don't want to dip first and then physically try to lift Carl's right leg, because it's going to feel very heavy. As I fall to my right, I just shelf it, and his shin is against the back of my left hamstring. I'm feeling very comfortable from there. Now again, I'll be pushing to get this knee to the mat and pulling on Carl's sleeve. Once I get to there, if he doesn't try to get his base back, I go to De La Riva X. But if he doesn't make any resistance, I just swim this foot inside. So it just comes from here to here. Now I don't pull it all the way in as if I was going to single leg X. I just move it into an elevator sweep position. Now, three pressers. I push on the knee, I pull on the wrist, and I kick up with this leg. Notice what happens to my head. My head is lower than Carl's. The minute I kick up, my head gets higher than Carl's, and that's what makes the sweep easier. Whose head's the highest? Mine. Keep the grips, and now I just pull myself into. If he wins the underhook, I'm winning the underhook. And I'm on top. Option one. Option two. I'm playing the game. I stretch him out. This is in the pocket the whole time. So I'm pushing, I make the sit-up, and then when I go to dip and shelf, and I'm here, I can't get his knee to the mat. I'm pushing. You get people just can nearly do the splits, and I can't get the knee to the mat. No problem. I just swim this inside again. Same thing. Pull, push, coming up on top, and I'm winning that underhook. That's the detail. I can't let him. He might have a good half guard game. I don't end up in this position, and then it becomes a battle. So, one more time on that. So, from our De La Riva position, like we talked about, the De La Riva guard just isn't a De La Riva hook. It's what I'm doing with my four limbs. So I'm pushing on the thigh, this one's on the outside, and I have the ankle which stops the X pass. So I push the kazushi, his backwards movement pulls me up, my De La Riva hook comes up. Now we want to get into this base, this shelf position. Dip and shelf. I'm falling onto my right shoulder, my right hip. As I push in that knee and pull, we end up here. Now if I get the knee to the mat, that's cool. If I don't, it's no problem. See, this should feel very comfortable. The pulling up on my hand and the pushing here, I just swim inside, I keep my grips. And from there, it's a pull on the wrist, a push, and I'm pulling myself in and winning that underhook. And then I'm in. First option again was, sometimes when I'm here and I'm playing the game and I stretch him up, when I go to dip and shelf, I'll actually get his knee on the mat, which is a good thing. From that position, you just swim inside, a push on the knee, a pull on the shoulder. That's just very much like a butterfly guard kick, but see the way I still have those grips? And now I'm pulling myself into half guard. I win the underhook, I win the crossface, and we're good to go. Okay.